Kyle Brandt. This is our show.
Hey.
Morning football on a Tuesday following the Giants and the Niners. We're going to get you Lev Bell because he's got a bit of a deadline. Clock is ticking there in Pittsburgh. I don't know what time the LA Fitness opens, but the deadline is coming up rapidly, guys.
Getting his jumpers in. Saved by the Bell today. What do you think?
He's out there playing horse or something?
I think he is. Hopefully pig. He's
on the elliptical watching us right now.
Maybe he is. I was watching Giants-Niners. That thing got nice.
It did.
I can't lie to you. Nice little football game.
Well, let's do the highlight. Giants-Niners wrapping up Week 10. Kyle, let's go to, oh yeah, it's raining here. Take me to Santa Clara.
Let's do it, because up there at Levi Stadium, the members of the Paradise High School football team joined the team. They lost most of their town and most of their homes in the wildfires. Actually, a very cool story. Paradise High School, the Bobcats, cool story, the fact that they could join them for the game. They met with John Lynch. They got autographs. The Niners really treated them well, as they should. As for the game, the Niners were up 3-0 early. I'm telling you, this game was pretty good. The old Nick Mullins. Remember him from last week? We loved him. We celebrated him. He came to play again. Got intercepted there, though, by B.J. Goodson. Returned 5 yards as Jimmy G looks on from the booth. We always love that. Eli, though, looking. Who's he got? Nate, who's he got?
He got Odell in the background.
I missed that man. I feel like I haven't seen him all year. Odell had a big night, so buckle up, because this one's good. 10-7 now, Niners. Give it to Saquon Barkley. No, stopped. Look at that, Fred Warner. What's up, Fred Warner?
Rookie. He's having a good season.
Have a night. He's having a good season, Peter. We had a good night, too. Eli cut the play. He was supposed to go to Odell. Odell afterwards said, look, I was me. Then I was on the sideline. I was open. Why did he go to Saquon? Eli said, kill. Gives to Saquon. It's all right. Odell will have his day. Trust me. Third quarter, 49ers ball leading 13-10. Watch Matt Breida, who was awesome last night. Kind of sneaks into the slot. They can't get him early. He's open. That's a touchdown.
That's awesome.
Breida caught the ball well. He ran it. Had a couple of touchdowns.
Love Breida. Love Mullins. How about the play by Shanahan? That was cool.
Shanahan was on fire, in his element. Wanted this one badly. Nobody's mailing it in here. And neither is Odell, running free in the secondary. Down 10 at this point. It's the second half. Are the Giants just going to fade away and give up? No. Spoiler alert, they came to fight. And how about this one? Get it, Odell! He almost made the catch of the year. Here's the craziest thing. So he gets up, doesn't make the catch, runs back to the huddle, gets the play, runs out wide. Eli says, body English. On the very next snap, my friends, same play, same throw, same spot, touchdown. Just need a little practice, a little breakfast ball on hole number 1 out there. That's all they needed. Touchdown, Odell is second of the night. And there I believe it is the Carlton. Okay. Look at Sherman trying to coach up the DBs on the sideline. We love all of it. Fourth quarter, 2020. I told you we got a nice little game here. This was not great. This is way underthrown by, it's like I got caught in those winds. Wait to see the replay. Odell out in front. He's gone. Put it on him, he is gone. We got a long touchdown. It was a kite up there, just stopped dead. Eli couldn't believe it. Odell, at this point, probably could. Still tied 2020. What's up, Nick Mullins? What do you got for me? It's Movember, baby. Give me some magic. All right, short little completion. That's going to lead to a field goal. That's Kendrick Bourne for 3 yards. So now the Niners are up 23-20, guys. They want it. Giants want it. Eli, it is your time. Less than 3 minutes to play. We got Evan Ingram, 31 yards down to the 49ers, 44. There was actually a nice spattering of Giants fans across the country there last night with signs in support of Eli, rooting for him, cheering for him. Tries to go to Saquon in those incredible blue shoes that he had to recleat. Look at Shanahan, so pissed off because there is a penalty holding on Malcolm Smith that extends the drive. Now, 2nd and 10. That's Saquon again. Now watch the little bonus at the end here. You think he's going out of bounds? He's jumping off over dudes as he runs out of bounds. Just showing off because he can. It is no big deal. But here we have it knocking on the door. Eli. Is that Sterling? Yes, it is. Watch the replay. Does he get him down? It appears he gets the elbow down. A little bow drag swag.
Yeah. Bow drag swag.
That's it. That is a touchdown. Eli with a big man drive. That's vintage Eli. But look out for this dude. Nick Mullins. Do you have it in you? 18 seconds, 17 seconds, 16 seconds. He's going to Marquise Goodwin. Get down. There's no timeout. Get down. He doesn't. Now watch Landon Collins try to lay on him a little bit. Smart play. I don't mind it at all. But Mullins says, Juszczyk says, get off my guy. Mullins says, get down. 3, 2, 1. He does stop it. Guys, there's 1 second left. We got ourselves an end zone shot. And Mullins, can you imagine this? Nick Mullins, what do you got? Do you believe in miracles? No. Throws it out of the back of the end zone, and that is your ball game. I gotta tell you, that thing was electric. I love that game at the Big Denim. 27-23 Giants.
Let's say good morning to Will Selva out there. on the West Coast.
Speaking of the Bay.
Wonderful morning as usual with our guy. Hi.
Hey, what's going on there, everybody? It is a great Tuesday morning. We actually have a Raiders story that I'm going to end my update on. But first, let's start in Cincinnati. And it didn't take long for former Browns head coach Hugh Jackson to find employment again. Jackson heading back to the place where he was before he went to Cleveland. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reporting Jackson is expected to join the Bengals coaching staff imminently. He was on Marvin Lewis's staff for 4 seasons, the last 2 of which was as offensive coordinator. The Browns firing him less than 2 weeks ago. Jackson finishing with a record of 3-36-1. Now, what was feared for Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp became reality. Head coach Sean McVay confirming Kupp is out for the season with a torn ACL suffered in Sunday's win over the Seahawks. McVay calling it a huge loss. Robert Woods is now expected to see a lot more time in the slot. Staying here in L.A., Chargers linebacker Denzel Perryman will also miss the rest of the season after suffering multiple injuries Sunday. Perryman injuring his LCL against the Raiders and will also require hamstring surgery as well. Perryman is set to be a free agent this offseason. There are many people in Oakland directing their ire toward head coach John Gruden for the Raiders' lost season. But in an interview with ESPN, owner Mark Davis says the blame has been misplaced. Davis says he deserves it with where the team is right now. Quote, "The buck stops with me." Davis also adding that Gruden is the stability there and he's not going anywhere. Davis also says that Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper deals weren't Gruden's fault. Gruden, for his part, says he appreciates Davis's support and says he just wants to win. Obviously, the support is there. After all, he paid $100 million over 10 years, Kay.
Wild stuff from Will Selva out there on the West Coast. We'll talk to you throughout the show right here on Good Morning Football. We've got an NFC division showdown, guys, for Thursday Night Football. It's the Packers and the Seahawks. We love this matchup. Things get weird. Green Bay coming off a much-needed loss or win against the Dolphins, right? They've got to get it to happen. But let's send it over to Randy Moss for more.
Good morning, Kay. The toughest part of this short week for the Packers will be figuring out who among their injured defensive players can even be ready for Thursday night. In Sunday's win against the Dolphins, safety Kentrell Bryce, corners Jair Alexander and Bashad Breeland, and linebacker Nick Perry all left the game with various injuries. Meanwhile, Kevin King, the other starting corner, was in street clothes on the sidelines. He was inactive. Late Monday morning, head coach Mike McCarthy was waiting for an update on those players. They were still being evaluated, and he said when he received that update later in the day, it would be the most important one of the week. Of course, even in perfect circumstances, this would be a challenging week for the Packers. They played the late afternoon game on Sunday. Then Tuesday night, they fly the 1,900 miles to Seattle. In the long and storied history of the Packers, they have never played a Sunday game and traveled that far to then play on Thursday night.
Seahawks coach Pete Carroll said it is disappointing and frustrating that his team once again could not knock off the high-flying Rams despite playing a closely contested game on Sunday in L.A. But Carroll said there's also a lot of things to be encouraged about coming out of that performance, including a rushing attack that put up 273 yards, led by rookie first-round pick Rashad Penny. The Seahawks held a walkthrough on Monday and will spend this short week in what Carroll called a big recovery mode leading up to that Thursday night home game against the Packers. If anybody knows how to handle the short week, it's Carroll. The Seahawks are 5-0 on Thursday night since 2013, the NFL's only unbeaten mark in that span. One player who's going to be challenged to get back for the game is linebacker KJ Wright, who could not finish the game on Sunday as he continues to make his way back from a knee injury. Running back Chris Carson and right guard DJ Fluker both should be good to go. Back to you, Kay.
Great stuff from Tom there. Let's bring it back to the breakfast table, shall we? This game is going to be awesome. We already know that. I can already say it's probably the best game of the weekend on Thursday Night Football, which is just a couple of days away. But it's really the quarterbacks, right? We've seen these two guys do it all. They both have rings. They both are wizards in their own right. Which quarterback, Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, which skill set impresses you the most?
I think Aaron Rodgers. And this is nothing against Russell Wilson. I love Russell Wilson. I think he's one of the greats. He's got a Super Bowl ring. But Aaron Rodgers does things that no other quarterback in the history of the sport has done. He can use his feet and roll out and throw a 70-yard Hail Mary. He could win games like this last week, which I'm sure Russell Wilson might have been saying, hey, I could do that too. But this was an all Rodgers show last week. I've been, I guess, bloviating over Rodgers this whole entire season, how great he is. And you're looking at the roster, the record, and you're saying, enough with Rodgers. But what he did at LA in a loss, keeping that team in there, it's monumental. And I just think Rodgers, as far as sheer skill set, what I would want to build my team around, it is Aaron Rodgers' skill set. That's nothing taking away from a Super Bowl champion, Russell Wilson. I would just take Rodgers over Wilson.
Right now, bloviating is trending worldwide right now. It's crazy.
I think that's the debut of that word.
I think it was too. Nate said duplicity last week. I'd never heard it. Bloviating.
It's a good word.
And nailed it.
I like it.
Peter's got one of those little tearaway calendars at home.
Yeah. Word of the day.
I'll double up and bloviate on Aaron Rodgers too, if that's a thing. There's a lot of talk about superheroes right now because of Stan Lee, and there's a moment when Thor's hammer hits Captain America's shield and there's this massive mushroom cloud and everything. That feels like the two of these. Like, you can flip a coin. I will say, though, that series that Rodgers went on where he was throwing Hail Marys like every 10 minutes, that was like a demigod or something, like Zeus throwing a lightning bolt. I've never seen any quarterback do that, and I don't think anyone who ever lived can do that. And you can have your Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen. That right there does it for me. It's a touchdown. It still hasn't come down. I'm going to go Rodgers by a hair.
These are the best.
He has a skill set. He has a level of not giving a ness about him that no one else has, that I aspire to be. Like when stuff like this happens, Mr. Quinn on the field this past week, right in front of his face, hits him with his own discount double check. Guys, take a look here. Robert Quinn, so insulting and disrespectful, right in front of him. He does not care. He actually came back and like crushed it right after that. At that point, it was 14-9 in the second quarter, and he wasn't sacked again in this game. I feel like this is a guy who gets off the cart and comes back on the field and gets it done. It's like this awesome level of like not caring.
Who's going to raise the Russell Wilson 12th flag, Nate?
I'm going to raise it. These guys are both great. They're both phenomenal. Both have a Super Bowl. Both led the league in passing once before. But I will say this. Russell Wilson can do it all when it comes to his completion percentage, his speed. He runs a 4.5 opposed to Aaron Rodgers' 4.7. And everything that Aaron Rodgers does, Russell Wilson has done it, and he's done it in 6 seasons. Remember, Aaron Rodgers has been in 10 years. Can you imagine what we're going to be saying about Russell Wilson? Oh, and not to mention last year, he scored 36 or 38 touchdowns for his team. I don't believe that Aaron Rodgers can do what Russell Wilson
Russell stays healthy, too.
Yep.
Rodgers has
and he gets hit more than Aaron Rodgers.
You're right.
He gets hit more than Aaron Rodgers.
Good call by all. What do you guys think on Twitter at #GMFB? Either way, it's 2 of the game's most electric for homework. We have to think about what we learned from this past week. Week 10's in the books, looking on to Week 11, Seahawks, Packers. What did you learn from Week 10?
We have lost the great Stan Lee at 95 years old. If you're not familiar with Stan Lee, even if you are, Stan Lee was really the Steve Jobs of superheroes. He was a little Thomas Edison, even a little Vince Lombardi. If you were a kid, adult, whatever, whoever the superhero was on your lunchbox or your bed sheets, your trapper keeper, Stan Lee probably thought of that superhero. We're talking Spider-Man, Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Black Panther, Fantastic Four, Guardians of the Galaxy, the X-Men, Thor. He thought of them. He drew them. It's an incredible thing he came up with, and he's had such an impact on so many people. Here's the Daily News with his catchphrase, Excelsior, at the bottom. And if you flip it, it's perfect. The Giants win. The Avenger, which is also on him. So he's got both sides of it. Stan Lee, in the comic books in the 1950s, were dominated by DC. It was Superman, and it was Wonder Woman and Batman. And he came in and said, I want to do something different. I want to be more dynamic, more flesh and blood, more relatable. And he created all these characters who were much more down to earth. And it had such an impact on so many, especially NFL players. How many players have we seen who channel their whole identity after superheroes? Those people came from Stan Lee. And when he passed, there's Le'Veon, who's got a lot going on, who took some time to say R.I.P. Stan Lee, a real legend. And some of these were really effusive. They meant a lot to a lot of people. Russell Okung sat next to Stan on a flight one time. Such a great man with incredible presence. I was surprisingly too nervous to introduce myself at first, but glad I did. Definitely a pioneer and one of the world's most creative minds. These are guys in the heart of their career. Next, what else do we have? We also had Brian Dawkins. Now, Dawkins is the standard. Dawkins is a Hall of Famer Probably in part because of Stan Lee. He got very, Dawkins talks. Mr. Stan, I never had the honor and pleasure of meeting you, yet I've known you my entire life. Thank you for blessing me and all the other sci-fi geeks with your beautiful mind, showing us what else there is out there for us to tap into and escape to. Dawkins was Wolverine. He was Weapon X. This is the guy who ended in Canton, Ohio because he would channel the creative mind of Stan Lee on the field and flip the switch. It's not just Dawkins either. There's some great ones. Some guys Hall of Famers, some guys you barely remember. Peyton Hillis had a run with Cleveland, and Cleveland fans named him the Juggernaut, who could run through any substance. There it is right there. There were Juggernaut t-shirts, there was internet threads, everything about Peyton Hillis, a Stan Lee character. Right here on this show, we had Vance McDonald, right? I called him Vanos, another Avengers thing. But if you look in the background of the Angry Runs trophy, he has a Thor hammer right there that his wife had commissioned for him from an actual steel worker to make a Stan Lee creation. And lastly, another fantastic player. You might not even remember this. Andre Rison, we talk about all the time. Do you know Andre Rison became Spider-Man at the end of his career? He's web slinging right there. He decided at the end of his career, I'm going to start slinging webs. All came from Stan Lee, who has impacted not only this world, but this game so much. And I will end with a quote that I find very relatable, and I think maybe the four of us might too, given what we do every day. Stan Lee said, I used to be embarrassed because I was just a comic book writer while other people were building bridges or going on to medical careers. Then I began to realize that entertainment is one of the most important things in people's lives. Without it, they might go off the deep end. I feel that if you're able to entertain people, you're doing a good thing. Stan Lee, incredible life, entertained the world, made the NFL part of what it is today with just drawing a few cartoon characters. Really incredible life. Stan Lee.
Very cool, Kyle.
Rest in peace.
Stan Lee, rest in peace.
Well done. You guys don't know the name Ezra Castro. It's not a name that people know. He's not on your fantasy football team. But you do know Matt Barkley, you do know LaShawn McCoy, and you do know that the Buffalo Bills came out of nowhere with a quarterback who had been on the team for 11 days and beat the New York Jets in their building 41-10. What you don't know is about Ezra Castro's performance the night before. Guys, I'm going to toss to the speech that Ezra Castro gave to the Bills Saturday night, a fan of the team.
I wanted to let you all know that what you guys go through, us regular people go through. What I'm going through, stage 4 metastatic adenocarcinoma of the biliary pancreatic. It took me a while to learn that. My last scan didn't look too good. Things got worse. The doctor wasn't too promising about it. I know it's crazy. I seriously take my mask in all the time to every treatment because when I put the mask on, it just gives me an extra boost of energy. I'm sure just as you guys put on the helmet, it gives you an extra boost of energy. So I can relate to you guys in that aspect. Obviously, I'm getting poison pushed through me. You guys are getting hit. It's the same thing. The fans everywhere. I get messages from Germany, guys, Chile, Argentina, Africa. There's Bills Mafia everywhere. I get messages from everywhere pushing for me. That family, they love you guys, just like my family loves me, and they show up to the next chemo treatment with me with that same positive attitude. We show up every Sunday for you guys. Lastly, I won't take much more of your time. I want to unmask myself a bit. Because you guys ain't wearing your helmets. There's my mask, there's my helmet. I'm a regular guy. 2 kids, I'm a mortician. That's what I do for a living, been doing it for 17 years. I'm 39 years old. I'm just a regular guy on the street, and I'm just a big Buffalo Bills fan. But when I put on that mask, it's on, baby. I know it's on when you guys put on that helmet. Can you say Poncho Power? 1, 2, 3, Poncho Power. Yeah, baby. Ugh.
That was Saturday night before the game. And his name is Ezra Castro. You guys know him as Pancho Billa. He did a day 2 pick for the Bills this year. The team was so motivated, so enthused, they went out and they blew the doors off the New York Jets the next day. Zay Jones scores a touchdown. And you'll see here, this is from Matt Barkley. Zay Jones gets the catch, scores it, and immediately what he does is he unravels a towel, and the towel says Poncho Power, and this is for Pancho Billa. This was his moment to give love to him. After the game, they brought it all in the locker room, said Poncho Power. This is why we love the sport. This is why we love the fans. This is what football means to people across the country. Buffalo Bills won 41-10, and Matt Barkley played great, and we're not taking any credit away from the players or the coaching staff. They brought it. But don't for a second question the power of the fans, and also vice versa, what football can do for the fans. Shout out to the Buffalo Bills organization, and shout out to Ezra Castro, a 39-year-old father of two who is just a normal guy on the street who loves the Buffalo Bills and got to see his team win a game on Sunday.
Shout out to you for bringing that story to my attention. I hadn't seen that.
It was awesome stuff, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Powerful.
amazing.
Poncho power.
Poncho power, baby.
I like it.
Powerful
Go.
stuff, man.
On
I
that
like it.
note, we'll hit a short break, everybody.
Ezra,
We'll be
pulling for
right
you, man.
back here on Good Morning Football. Our thoughts are with Ezra Poncho Bill up there. Marcus?
The NFL Network newsroom. We saw some X's thrown up by Saints and Cowboys players in honor of veteran receiver Dez Bryant. Bryant's season was over before it began after rupturing his Achilles in practice last week. His absence still leaves a hole on the Saints wide receiver depth chart, and another veteran is ready to fill it. Enter six-time Pro Bowler Brandon Marshall. The Seahawks releasing Marshall last month. In 6 games this season, he had 11 grabs for 136 yards and a touchdown. He has 8 1,000-yard receiving seasons in his career. Now, when the Bills host the Jags in Week 12, they'll have rookie Josh Allen under center as long as he's healthy. Head coach Sean McDermott announcing the decision. McDermott says Allen's development is important for him and the team moving forward. Allen hasn't played since spraining his elbow in a loss to the Texans a month ago. Allen's return means somebody has to go, and that somebody is Nathan Peterman. The team cutting Peterman with Matt Barkley's presence now in the QB room. Peterman attempting 130 passes in his Bills career, throwing a dozen interceptions and just 3 touchdowns. A hip injury might sideline Ravens quarterback Joe Flacco for the game against the Bengals. Head coach John Harbaugh saying Flacco did some work on Monday and might practice later this week. Harbaugh says he'll see how the rest of the week plays out before making a decision. Now, if Flacco can't go, it will be either Robert Griffin III or rookie Lamar Jackson. And Kay, Jackson's name certainly making fantasy owners everywhere take notice. We may actually see him get a start. We will see as we monitor the situation there in Baltimore.
Thank you so much for talking fantasy, because it brings us to waiver day. It's time for some Good Morning Fantasy. No Pats, no Bills, no Browns, no Dolphins, no Jets, no Niners. No problem.
Okay.
We've got you covered here. I submit first a quarterback.
Okay.
Marcus Mariota. Never picked up in fantasy. Nobody ever drafts him. He's available in like 90% of leagues right now at NFL.com. If you're still in the thing, you got to like him because he's been heating up lately, right? He's a QB7 over the last 2 weeks, as you can see by the numbers. This offense is sort of just getting better and more comfortable and healthier week in, week out. And he's got the Colts, who got lit up by Bortles and Derek Carr over the last 2 games. 282 yards a game allowed, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. And then, of course, he has the little bonus of rushing yards.
No doubt. Love those.
Give you maybe those 3 points, those 30 yards that you need to take down your opponent. All right, let's move on to another quarterback. This one is solely for Kyle Brandt.
Okay, I need a quarterback.
Because he likes the risky guy.
Hell yeah, let's go.
What about Lamar Jackson?
Talk about it.
It's a little bit intriguing, right? There's a good chance Joe Flacco does not play. He's got the hip injury. He can run. He can do lots of things, so I think he's a bit intriguing here. He's got the Bengals. The Bengals have allowed the most fantasy points to quarterbacks this season, which is pretty awesome. And they've allowed the 5th most rushing yards to the quarterback position as well. Are you in?
I'm fascinated. Okay, because I'm 3-6. I've been starting Derek Carr and Dak Prescott. I'll take a shot. Why not?
You're still setting your lineup at 3-6?
Yeah, I got pride. I got pride.
All right, let's move on to a running back in case anybody out there needs one. Oldie but a goodie, but I'm going for you guys. Doug Martin.
I like it too.
Listen, it's a tough sell. I get it, but over the last 3 weeks, he's averaging 83 total yards on 15 touches a game. He's coming off his best performance, right? He had nearly 100 yards against a tough Chargers run defense, and the matchup could not be better. He's going up against the Cardinals. They've allowed the 3rd most points to running backs. If you're in a bad spot, pick up Doug Martin. All right. A guy I really like and have had my eye on for the past couple of weeks is Maurice Harris. Okay. Maurice Harris, because Alex Smith has favored him. He's been the guy he's funneling targets to, given all the injuries. He is top 5 in the league in catches, top 10 in yards. He hasn't scored yet, but he's still been top 15 in PPR for the past 2 weeks. And the Texans have been above average up against wide receivers. It's not the best matchup, but I feel like given the volume, given the injuries, he's worth adding, and he's only 1.2% owned. And you know what, Triggs? You can't play Edelman, you can't play Josh Gordon, and you can't play Jarvis Landry this week.
Harris had one of the best catches of all of last season. Kirk Cousins threw him a bomb in the end zone. It was one of these crazy one-handed catches. It was one of those deals you're like, who's that? And now he's actually making a name on a regular basis.
Lots of teams on a bye. Go ahead and pick him up. And last but not least, another Schrader special, the Cardinals defense.
Okay. Held Mahomes.
They are a top 10 fantasy defense. They have been. Mahomes had been sacked 12 times all year heading into last week. They got him 5 times, holding the Chiefs to their lowest output really of the season, just 26 points. And they're up against who? The Raiders.
Perfect.
I love it. They've been held without a touchdown in 3 of their last 4 games.
Yeah, but Doug Martin.
That's a crazy statistic. So these are the guys. That Lamar Jackson's pretty intriguing, no?
I'm 100% in. And there's a lot of people, Cam, I'm sure, who the season's gotten away from them.
Yeah.
You know, like, why not try something fun? That'll be fun to try. Go ahead, take a shot.
Fun or frustrating?
Fun. It's all fun. It's fantasy. What the fun? Make you angry? Good. I wanted to, because this is Angry Runs, where we round up the most physical, the most punishing runs each week in the NFL, and we award a champion, and we give them a trophy. We have the Angry Trophy, the most glorious trophy this side of the Lombardi. You can have your World Cup and your Mirror Ball and all those trophies. I will take that one. We send it out to the winner each week. Last week, our first ever dual winner, Julio Jones and Jake Matthews of the Falcons, were we able to send one to Atlanta? Like, yay! Look at the 2 winners.
Look at the smile on Julio.
They're so happy
That's
together.
awesome.
How about
so
that?
good.
Thank you so much.
Hey, check it out, Ryan.
I've never seen Julio smile before.
And Jake and everyone in Flowery Branch. It's an amazing shot. They look so happy to get the trophy,
like
as well they
This
should
is
be.
the actual music they play in the stadium when the Lombardi's
This is the
handed
one.
out. And they have that smile. It's amazing.
They look so happy.
Sharing the
Guys, I love you. Thank you for doing it. Let's see who's going to take them out, though. Let's get to the first entrance this week. The Tennessee Titans, who are constantly delivering angry runners. Let's go to Marcus Mariota, who throws to tight end Jonnu Smith, who's going to do a little spin splash slash stiff arm move. It's kind of like in Street Fighter when you start mashing buttons. Watch this right here. The stiff arm spin combo on Patrick Chung, who's one of the best tacklers in the NFL. Jonnu Smith is, guys, a second-year guy, 3rd-round pick, a former power lifter who was 2nd in the nation at one point, shows the delts and the traps, and see you later, Patrick Chung. I have to respect the Titans because of Mariota and Dion and now Jonnu Smith constantly giving us fresh material, and we like fresh blood in angry runs. The next guy is not fresh blood, not by any stretch. He's been around forever. Mr. Frank Gore. Let's go to Frank Gore. He's going to break this tackle and that tackle, and he's still going. Guys, I don't believe Mr. Gore has ever been in angry runs. It's the one thing in his career he's never accomplished, I think. It's really the Angry Runs trophy and the Lombardi, unfortunately. But he breaks tackles from almost every single person in this league. You get up in those mid to late 30s, man, you get angry. Stuff pisses you off, but you get that dad strength. All the groceries in one load. Pick up 6 kids into both arms. That is Frank Gore, who I think is still going all the way to Canton. We'll debate it in 5 or 6 years. But next, guys, this one's incredible. I said earlier in the week, I think Jared Cook might be the best player on the Raiders. Watch what he does out in the flat in 3-2. Sit down!
Oh, my God.
Look the hell out. This is a long season on a bad team, and he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's Desmond King. He ain't a king after that. Is this your king? Is this your king? No, I'm your king. And he throws him off the waterfall. The king got cooked. You better come at the king. He didn't miss. Wire reference. Love you, Jason Whitlock. Here we go. Jared Cook slams him down. So, pretty incredible stuff. 3 good entrants. But let's go to the champs. The first ever tag team champs from last week. Julio Jones. Watch Big Jake. Sorry, Josh Norman, I love you. But Julio scoring his first touchdown. Haha, Clinton Dix. I am so sorry. We had Jake. Watch Jake again. Boom! And now Julio's just off and running. Haha, that ain't an easy job. Brand new in town, new team. Here we go. But can we see the reverse angle? Because there was someone we recognized in this. In fact, Peter ran into the segment last week because there was a fan that we love so much. Of course, this game is at FedEx Field. It's up in Washington. Here we go. Now, Friesen, my guy, right there. He is on the road. Now, listen, we tried to find him. We tried so hard to find him, but we just couldn't find him.
Really?
We weren't able to find this guy.
Really?
We tried all of Twitter. We tried everything. There he is! We got him. Yes! This is my man.
I thought he was
Isaiah.
here.
Isaiah. He was on the road. We sent him a trophy.
I love it.
Said, it's a dream come true. I love the show. I love Angry Run. The same coat, same jersey, same jacket. Isaiah, you are the real hero.
Wait,
guys.
That's not a Photoshop, you swear?
That's the real dude. Isaiah. Same outfit. That guy in the same outfit, in the same pose.
Isaiah fool with it. He a fool with it.
He's don't even get into it, Nate. You know what the hell I'm talking about.
That is amazing.
Unbelievable. So Jake got a trophy. Julio got a trophy. Isaiah got a trophy. Guys, I'm just going to throw it back to you at the table. We got 45 seconds left. Do with it what you will.
Good do you got?
I got Jared Cook.
Jared Cook.
I got to pass the crown.
Unbelievable.
Isaiah's the man. He can get one every week, but I am saying Jared Cook slamming down Desmond King. That's my pick.
I will go Frank Gore because I think I'm going to have to do some heavy lifting to get him into the Hall of Fame.
Sure.
The Super Bowl win. So I feel like if I can say he was a champion on Angry Runs, it'll help him get to Canton.
Good call.
I'll say repeat champion. They scored a touchdown. I'm always partial to Angry Run plus a touchdown.
Vote. Guys, they've got nothing else going for them. I'm going to go touchdown Raiders. Hey! Jared Cook, look in the mail, dude. We'll send you a trophy. And Isaiah, we love you. I see you. See? Love it.
I thought Isaiah was here for a second. I didn't see the screen. And I was like, Isaiah! We'll be back on Good Morning Football. Oh, so happy that you did not decide to grow a beard and keep it until Le'Veon Bell decided to show up. I mean, you did it with Carson Wentz and interceptions, but that would be, you'd be Moses at this point.
It's true. When Carson Wentz started his career, I said, I'm not going to shave until there's an interception. He went 4 weeks, including the bye, and I was starting to look like Modest Yahoo. If I had done Le'Veon Bell, forget about it. No. Clean shaven. And I think he's going to report today. I'll say it again.
You think so?
I have a feeling he's going to report. I'm looking at the clues.
I'd love to get what you guys think. So let's do it. Let's hit it. It's time for the lead block. Has arrived. It's today. Le'Veon Bell has until 4 p.m. Eastern to sign the franchise tender with the Steelers, or else he'll be ineligible to play with the Steelers for the rest of the season. Shregs, where do things stand and where could they go from here?
You nailed it, Kay. 4 p.m. today is the deadline. If he shows up, he'll get the remainder of his salary prorated, $6 million for the year, and then at the end of the season, he will likely become a free agent. If he doesn't show up, he forfeits every last dollar he would have been due if he had agreed to the franchise tag and shown up at any point. That's $14 million on the whole, which is a lot. Now, a lot of things go into this. The Steelers are rolling right now. They don't necessarily need Le'Veon Bell. And on the other end of it, Le'Veon Bell says, I've got fresh legs. I'm going to be another year older, but having not played and being healthy the entire season, maybe that extends my career. And you look at all the teams on the free agent market who might want to add a running back. Todd Gurley set the market with about $16 million per year plus a bunch of guaranteed money. If Le'Veon Bell can get more than Todd Gurley, which was 16, if he can get 17 or 18 from, say, the Colts or the Bucks or the Ravens or whoever this offseason, then you can say, okay, he made a financial decision, he preserved his legs, and over that course of the next 5 years, he's going to make that money back. He stood for something, he set the market for running backs. The question is, what is he sacrificing? He's sacrificing $14 million, literally burning it on fire. It's just money that was due to him he will not be doing. And he is sacrificing a legacy with the Steelers. And lastly, he's sacrificing a chance to play football this season. How will teams view that around the league? It's fascinating because with so many players, their agents talk to the media, and the agent tells the media this is what exactly is going on, and it's accurate.
Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell's agent, Adisa Bakari, is a trusted and well-liked agent around the He even would say to a man, it's up to Le'Veon. At 4 p.m. Eastern, if he shows up at 3:58, that's his decision. But as of right now, all the tea leaves are saying he will not be showing up, and the season will progress, and we will have a 2018 NFL campaign without Le'Veon Bell on the field.
There's so many layers to this situation, and you hear negotiation, you hear leverage, and you hear words like legacy. And for athletes, all we want is to leave our legacy. You know, sometimes that's with Super Bowl rings, with the money you make, the plays that you put out there, the memories, the fantasy points that you put up for certain fans. For other guys, legacy is much deeper than that. New Jack City is one of my favorite movies. And in there, Nino Brown says, it's bigger than Nino Brown. This is bigger than Le'Veon Bell. And that's what he's sitting back thinking. At home, where everybody's talking about him and talking about his legacy, 5-10 years from now, Le'Veon can leave the game a much wealthier man than he was when he walked in. And you know what a great legacy is? It might not be the Super Bowl rings. It might not even be playing for a winning team. It might be setting a new benchmark for running backs that are typically the team's best rusher, and then oftentimes their second or third best receiver. And Le'Veon saying, if we're touching the ball more than anybody on the field, next to the quarterback, why not pay us as such? I'm okay with this. Yes, he's taking his lumps and bumps and bruises, but there's been many athletes across every sport that had to stand for something, so the rest of the guys wouldn't fall for anything.
His legacy was supposed to be he's the Pittsburgh Steelers' Emmitt Smith. Le'Veon Bell had a hell of a hand, all right? We're in the Super Bowl window. Yep. I might be your best player. I'm a prolific player. Had a hell of a hand, and he decided to play it. We cannot overestimate the role that James Conner has played in this whole thing, because he was the Teddy KGB who sat down and called, and he didn't have it. There's a really interesting name, I think, that should be thrown around today, and it's a guy named Derek Lassick. Derek Lassick, in 1993, Emmitt Smith said, we're coming off a Super Bowl. I'm Evitt, just like Le'Veon. I'm going to hold out. He didn't show up for the first 2 games. The Cowboys lost both of them. And Derek Lassick was the guy who filled in for Emmitt Smith. He was a rookie. He's the first rookie to ever start for reigning Super Bowl champ. He didn't get it done. It was obvious that they badly needed Emmitt. And it's almost, the parallels are crazy. We've heard the Steelers lineman talk about Le'Veon. Back when this was happening, the Cowboys lineman, the legendary line of the 90s, was saying things like Nate Newton, this is a nice kid here, but if we want a Super Bowl, we need Emmitt. Eric Williams, this Lassick kid can't run like Emmitt can. All the things that the Steelers were not saying about James Conner. Okay. If James Conner comes in and doesn't have it, and the Steelers start 1-3, this whole thing could be completely different. James Conner's had it. He's really, really poured on. If James Conner was Derek Lassick, I think Le'Veon Bell may have a big contract. They may say, we got to pay this guy. We need him in here. The problem with Le'Veon is his hand got called because of 30 right there. He had a better hand, and he overplayed it. That's the deal.
Cowboys folklore. The story goes, Michael Irvin from the NFL Network came into Jerry's office and said, get it done.
It's like Antonio going in the Steelers front office and saying,
really?
Get Le'Veon in here.
We have not had Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, or Cam Hayward.
No need to.
Bang their fist to Mike Tomlin and the front office and say, get it done. No one's done that.
Hey, Shrikes, what sort of precedent is this going to set? Let's say his legacy is to reset the mark. Doesn't that just make it seem like more players could do that? I know he's a special talent. He has different circumstances, but players don't always see it that way.
No, and, Kay make a great point. And Nate, I thought you did it so eloquently, talking about what he stands for with the running back position. It's very hard in the 24-hour, what you call fast food football, to appreciate the 30,000-foot view, and I think that's what this is. This is, running backs have long been underpaid in the NFL. So Todd Gurley got paid, but he also signed a 4-year extension. It's a 6-year contract. If Le'Veon Bell breaks the market, Kay, then Leonard Fournette has a stand to make with the Jaguars, and Ezekiel Elliott can do the same with the Cowboys. Kurt Flood was a former baseball player who created free agency in baseball. Oscar Robertson basically held up the ABA-NBA merger in the 70s because he thought free agency should come to the NBA. There was free agency in football in the early 90s, but this is something very specific to the running back position, which is the one position on the field that doesn't get paid up to the performance on the field. So I find it to be fascinating because there are no historians of the running back position that are going to come out today. But what Nate said was kind of spot on. And if you're that younger generation, if you're one of these young college running backs coming in, Le'Veon Bell is standing for you. And I don't even know if the other players around the league are recognizing that right now.
But do GMs and front offices and owners like that? Do they like this precedent that he's setting?
No.
Are they going to reward that? I mean, I know somebody is in the offseason because of how talented he is, but it just seemed like, what precedent is he setting, not aside from the running back position, just in the league and how to handle business?
Yeah, it's very rare that a guy will miss an entire season standing for something. We've seen Joey Galloway hold out 8 games. We've seen Emmitt Smith hold out 2 games. Sean Gilbert's done it. I mean, this is rare air.
Do you think we'll see it more now?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I think it's such a unique situation.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a unique situation for the simple fact that if Le'Veon does this successfully, guys going to have to in the future. That's the whole point. It's just like Leonardo DiCaprio, for so long underappreciated. Movie after movie after movie, never wins an Oscar. He literally had to fight with a grizzly bear.
It almost died.
Yeah, he had to almost die.
It was a movie.
He's getting dragged through the mud. I know, metaphorically speaking.
Very realistic conditions on that show. How dare you?
Listen, he did die, but okay.
Metaphorically speaking, though, he had to get dragged through the mud by a grizzly bear in order for him to get appreciated from the masses. Le'Veon Bell, he's getting dragged through the mud right now, but the running back for so long, Trace, so long, Kyle, being a running back. You look at these guys putting in all this work, some of the best players we've seen in the history of this league. These guys can pay crumbs.
Hey, C.J. Anderson ran for 1,000 yards, was released by his team, signed with a new team, was already cut from them. So, that's how quickly these running backs go. So he's looking for long-term pay me.
But is it not playing right now, not showing up before the 4 p.m. deadline? We've got everything you guys need all day long on this, by the way, on NFL Network. Does that help his value going into next year and getting paid?
Yeah.
It helps.
Your team, you don't want to see them on the field getting beat up.
The odometer factor. For running backs, it's all about how much treads on the tires.
Even
it's
at
really
week
big.
11, and if they don't play him a ton, and they can't activate him, until a couple of weeks from now?
He can be activated this week, but he can be exempt, meaning they can give him 2 weeks where he gets ready and then they get him on the field.
So you guys think it'll hurt him, not help him for his next year deal if he's not on the field this year?
Tread on tires, okay?
What about like being just a team
That sounds
Like
really
that
good,
trust.
and then you see him make a play, and they're like, screw it, let's just bring him in because he's that good.
Yeah.
But that makes it that complicated, Kay. It's that tough.
You guys can tweet us at #GMFB. There was a Monday Night Football game that was awesome.
It really was.
Giants-Niners in Santa Clara. Let's go.
Le'Veon in LA Fitness, where he was writing the basketball diaries. But last night at Levi Stadium, the Paradise.
Everything going on across the league out there in LA this morning. Will?
All right, thank you, Kay. Appreciate that. And we start with some sad news as former Giants running back Ron Johnson has died after a long battle with Alzheimer's. Johnson was the first African-American player to be captain of the University of Michigan football team. He spent 1 season with the Browns before being traded to the Giants, where he became the first player in franchise history to run for 1,000 yards in a season. Johnson was 71 years old. Meanwhile, we do have other news from around the league, and what was feared for Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp became indeed reality. Head coach Sean McVay confirming Kupp is out for the season with a torn ACL suffered in Sunday's win over the Seahawks. McVay calling it a, quote, huge loss. Robert was expected to see a lot more time there in the slot. Another player out for the season is Eagles cornerback Ronald Darby. He was also lost to a torn ACL suffered in the Eagles' Sunday night loss to the Cowboys. Darby will become the 5th Eagles starter to end up on injured reserve this season. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes making the most out of his first season as a starter, leading the league in passing yards and touchdowns, many touting him as the front runner for the MVP award. So what does his head coach Andy Reid think about the MVP race?
Yeah, I'm not very good. I'm not very good with all that stuff. I would tell you he's doing a nice job, but he's got a ways to go here, in the season, and we're playing against a good team. And I know you had to ask me that question, but I'm a little water around the boulder here. So.
A little water around the boulder. I don't think I've ever heard that saying before. I'm assuming that means that he just wants to not get too close to it here. But water around the boulder?
You got
it's a new
me.
one. I guess I'll use it.
Never heard it. It's you'll use it like Nate's now using I woke up feeling dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
Baker Mayfield
And
said.
bloviating.
Thank you, Will.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll talk to you. I don't know how to say that word. What is it? Bloviating?
Yeah, it seems kind of gross. I don't know. I'm not.
Bloviation.
Nope, don't like it. But we do like what we have coming up next. An NFC showdown slated for Thursday night as the Packers visit the Seahawks. Green Bay coming off a much-needed win against the Dolphins, but the victory came with a price. We have both sides covered, and let's start with the latest injury updates from Green Bay. So let's kick it over to our guy, Randy Moss.
Good morning, Kay. The toughest part of this short week for the Packers will be figuring out who among their injured defensive players can even be ready for Thursday night. In Sunday's win against the Dolphins, safety Kentrell Bryce, corners Jair Alexander and Bashad Breeland, and linebacker Nick Perry all left the game with various injuries. Meanwhile, Kevin King, the other starting corner, was in street clothes on the sidelines. He was inactive. Late Monday morning, head coach Mike McCarthy was waiting for an update on those players. They were still being evaluated, and he said when he received that update later in the day, it would be the most important one of the week. Of course, even in perfect circumstances, this would be a challenging week for the Packers. They played the late afternoon game on Sunday. Then Tuesday night, they fly the 1,900 miles to Seattle. In the long and storied history of the Packers, they have never played a Sunday game and traveled that far to then play on Thursday night.
Seahawks coach Pete Carroll said it is disappointing and frustrating that his team once again could not knock off the high-flying Rams despite playing a closely contested game on Sunday in L.A. But Carroll said there's also a lot of things to be encouraged about coming out of that performance, including a rushing attack that put up 273 yards, led by rookie first-round pick Rashad Penny. The Seahawks held a walkthrough on Monday and will spend this short week in what Carroll called a big recovery mode leading up to that Thursday night home game against the Packers. If anybody knows how to handle the short week, it's Carroll. The Seahawks are 5-0 on Thursday night since 2013, the NFL's only unbeaten mark in that span. One player who's going to be challenged to get back for the game is linebacker KJ Wright, who could not finish the game on Sunday as he continues to make his way back from a knee injury. Running back Chris Carson and right guard DJ Fluker both should be good to go. Back to you, Kay.
Thanks so much, Tom and Randy. Great stuff. We are very much looking forward to what is always an exciting finish, sort of a weird game when these two quarterbacks face off. It's Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson. They're going to have their work cut out for them on Thursday night on NFL Network. Both teams are banged up, both dealing with injuries and a couple of changes, of course, in the offseason. Which quarterback, you can include them and kind of go rogue and go across the map here. Which quarterback, in your opinion, is doing the most with the least? Who's doing more with less?
Okay, it's tough for me to answer this question because every time I hear this, I feel like I'm taking a shot at the talent surrounding these quarterbacks. But, you know, to answer it honestly, I feel like a quarterback that we've been critical of this season and throughout his career, Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford has had these moments where he looked like one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He looked like he was ready to take that crown and go from being middle of the pack, top 10, to possibly top 5 QB in this league. But look at this individual right here. Don't we miss this already?
Oh, yeah, we do.
Golden Tate was one of the best receivers that he's ever played with. He's one of the best receivers in getting yak yards. You know what yak yards does for a quarterback? So they trade away him. He got sacked 10 times. He played the Vikings. Matt Stafford, he's working with less and trying to do more, which is why he's struggling.
He hasn't had an offensive line his entire career. Aaron Rodgers, guys. I mean, he's dealing with Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Equanimeous St. Brown. Like, you know, Aaron Jones and Ty Montgomery takes it out of the end zone. Like, I feel like Aaron Rodgers, as much as I'm an apologist for the guy, his teammates can't get out of their own way. Fired Alex Van Pelt, who was his favorite coach over the offseason, and he doesn't have a Josh McDaniels in his ear. No offense to Mike McCarthy, but I don't know if he's got the same ingenuity as a Shanahan or
All he had was Hilton. Now, let me tell you what he has. He hasn't played in 2 years. He has a new head coach who is a replacement for another head coach, a new coordinator, and no running back in the top 25, and no wide receiver in the top 30. He made Eric Ebron. That's Andrew Luck. Incredible season.
Modem joke,
yeah.
Back on Good Morning Football in just a little bit. It will be to Mike.
How you doing, guys?
Mike Garofalo here.
Nice little setup you got going on here. Is hanging out in the green room.
Oh, welcome.
Watching the show.
Well,
you guys are killing it.
It's a nice green room. So we're going to play a little Believe It or Not.
I love it. I love Believe It or Not.
And just sort of pitch up a statement that we've heard or that we personally believe in and kind of get what you think.
All right, I'm going to jump in. So with the ups and downs going on with New England, Rob Gronkowski being banged up, Tom Brady being 72 years old, Bill Belichick wants to kick it on the yacht.
No, where are you going with this?
Is the dynasty over? And I know we do this every year, but it seems a little bit different this year. Is the dynasty over?
And then every year someone says it seems different this year.
Should we believe it or not?
Where's that bear trap? I'm not stepping in it.
No way. So tempting, though, isn't it?
It is
Come on, there's some
tempting.
peanut butter on it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Have you seen Mahomes throw?
I have.
It seemed different.
What, does it seem different? It does seem a little different because Tom Brady isn't as sharp as he used to be. And I'm still waiting for somebody to draw the conclusion. Remember, this offseason, he was not as in as he was before. This was about his family, and I'm still waiting for somebody. It's not going to be me.
Yeah.
But I'm going to wait for somebody to say that maybe it's because of the offseason, and you can't beat Tom Brady unless you're fully in as Tom Brady. But it's not going to be me that's going to say that.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. Rob Gronkowski has been battling through some stuff that's apparently extremely debilitating. This has been a tough. It's not just like us. His ankle hurts a little bit.
Yeah.
His poor little anky. No. This is some serious stuff.
You might not see one 100% health again.
And that's a problem. And that's a problem because we haven't seen the full Gronk this year, and I don't know that we're going to at any point. And that is the game changer. That is the piece that a lot of teams don't have. So I think that could be that could be their Achilles here. It doesn't mean that they can't, and they may have to do it on the road this year in the postseason, which is huge. Doesn't mean they can't regroup and come back next year. I still think Brady's still got a little good football left in him.
It's funny because I remember when they went against the Chiefs, I got a text from someone and said, "Oh, you're not talking about the camel ride anymore, are you? Like Brady looks amazing." Brady didn't look amazing last week in Tennessee. He did not. Okay, here's another one. Let's go with another team that was in the Super Bowl last year. Everyone talks about LeGarrette Blount. Maybe that's why they're not as good as they were. Some of the other. The Eagles miss John DeFilippo and Frank Reich desperately right now. 100%. Believe it or not.
Before John DeFilippo was a coordinator. Did I say
in Cleveland?
A coordinator before. So you have two former coordinators now as your offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach last year, and those guys were clicking. And you saw the way that they game planned and the way that they came into each game and the way they adjusted. I don't see that from this Eagles team right now. I believe they're getting better, and I had heard that things were starting to get better, and these guys were, but you know, it's not like this. You know, it's and you hope that by the end of the season you're up, whereas you were down earlier on. But the problem is they're so far behind it right now, and they're going to have to score the way they did last year in the Super Bowl to keep up with this Saints team. And I just don't see it happening right now because you're going to have to overcome. Your defense not going to be able to stop them.
Not with Darby out. 30 points once.
Eagles have put up 30 points once this year. Yeah, it's not the same as it was last year, and you're seeing that. And they may have to regroup next year and get these guys going with Doug Peterson and find that chemistry on the coaching standpoint. Somebody, Reuben Frank, my buddy from Philly, NBC Sports Philadelphia, retweeted a guy who said, "Is Wentz a bust?"
Oh my gosh!
What are we doing? What are we doing, guys?
What are we doing?
Come on,
great the other
settle
night.
down, everybody. I mean, there's a lot of moving pieces, including the two that you mentioned.
Well, I want a friend named Reuben.
Reuben? I'll take a sandwich.
Rube, you call him Rube. Sure.
Mike, the New York Jets. If nothing else, a proud defensive tradition. Todd Bowles, a proud defensive coach. We got Matt Barkley to Deion Dawkins in the end zone in an absolute blowout. The New York Jets should move on from Todd Bowles, believe it or not.
Right now or after the season? Because that's it.
Right now.
No. And they did not. I do not believe it. I believe that they will after the season. I believe they should after the season. I think everybody in that building, including Todd Bowles, probably knows that it's time to move on at this point. But Bowles is a prideful guy. He's a consummate professional. I don't think you're going to have an issue with him as your head coach the rest of the season. And I tweeted this out yesterday. Everybody inside that building knows the most important thing right now is to make sure that Sam Darnold finishes on a high note. So they're going to take this bye week and beyond to figure out what do they need to do from an offensive standpoint. Maybe Bowles did say they're hanging with Jeremy Bates. On the table, and I have no idea how you're going to do that when you do that against the Bills. I'm looking for an offensive-minded head coach, a quarterback-friendly head coach, a Matt Nagy type. So I'm looking at maybe John DeFilippo, whom they wanted as offensive coordinator a couple of years ago.
Ooh, it is the Rams and the Chiefs in Mexico City in Week 11. The Chiefs' offense, there's no questions about.
A dangerous offense, and Cooper Kupp is a big loss. That's a number of things. I'm not concerned about this offense, really, Kay. I do not believe it.
What are you concerned about? What's going on, Mike?
I'm concerned about the weather. I looked outside just now. We're on the 50th floor here, and I said, "Oh, those are nice frosted windows." They said, "No, they're not frosted windows. We're in the middle of a cloud right now." Interesting.
Yeah, it's like Lando, right?
Yes, exactly.
We'll talk more Le'Veon coming up in the show. I guess we'll take a break. Garofolo, thanks for stopping by our new day.
We'll have you all day long for Le'Veon.
You look great, man. I like the look.
Thank you, my man.
Always looks great.
This is my wife, Jess. What's up?
Hey, Jess.
Great job, Jess.
Shout out. We'll see you, of course, on Good Morning Football Weekend, but all day on NFL Network. Impact of Stan Lee on the NFL and on just growing up, right, in this country, in this world. We have Denoris Searcy saying, "Rest in peace, Stan Lee. Thanks for giving me an amazing childhood." Watching my favorite superheroes every Saturday morning was the best. Thank you for the memories. A couple more tweets, and we'd love to hear from you guys at #GMFB. Chris Conley saying, Stanley, you will be missed. No one was ready for this. Clearly making an impact across the league. And Cam Hayward chiming in with a rest in peace to the real Stan Lee. May God bless you and your family. Hey guys.
If you've ever tied a bath towel around your neck and pretended to fly, or if you've ever bought a Brian Dawkins jersey, you can thank Stan Lee for a lot of that. It's really cool.
Yeah, and I loved his appearances in the movies, the little small cameos. So to continue his legacy, I'm curious to see the special effects and how they're going to make his cameo.
FB, we know football and comics and that world of fantasy sort of go hand in hand. Let's bring in Will Selva. He's out in the newsroom in Los Angeles on this Tuesday morning. Hey, Will.
Hey, what's going on there, Kay and guys? Definitely feeling that loss of Stan Lee as well. But the Buccaneers scored just 3 points against the Redskins Sunday as they dropped to 3-6 on the season. But it wasn't for a lack of offense. They totaled 501 yards of total offense, the most by a team to score 3 points or fewer in a game in the Super Bowl era. And it was enough to earn Ryan Fitzpatrick another start, so says head coach Dirk Cutter. It was the fourth time in 6 starts Fitzmagic has topped the 400-yard barrier, but he had 2 INTs and a lost fumble as well. Tampa averaging nearly 3 giveaways a game. Rookie Josh Allen's return under center for the game against the Jags means somebody has to go, and that somebody is Nathan Peterman. The team cutting Peterman with Matt Barkley's presence now firmly in the QB room. Peterman attempting 130 passes in his Bills career, throwing a dozen interceptions and just 3 touchdowns. And as I mentioned earlier in the update, the Redskins picking up the win over the Bucs. They're now 3-1 on the road to go along with a 3-2 record at home. But Washington corner Josh Norman says the players aren't feeling the love from the hometown fans at FedEx Field this season.
I feel like we play better on the road. I'm not gonna lie. Gosh, man, it just seems like the true fans of big ones, they really be with us on the road, and we feed off of that. When we go into the home stands, it just seems like, it's like a open bubble. I was like a other team's turf or something. You hear more of them than you do us. And if something bad happens, they sulk. Sit back in their seats and they boo. Like, I don't know. It started to be this year when I'm starting to see that. We come back to our home, it seems like guys just don't really care. They just boo everything and not really behind us. We don't really feel that. And I'm tired of it, really. I mean, we play all the games on the road, if you ask me.
Teammate DJ Swearinger agreeing with Norman, saying he's played on 4 different teams and has never seen it that bad when it comes to other teams' jerseys in the stands and the booing of the hometown team. You wonder what kind of reception the players are going to get at FedEx Field the next time they take the field at home after those critical comments from 2 players right there, Norman and Swearinger.
I kind of like hearing this from Josh Norman, and I appreciate you, Will Selva, for bringing that to our attention because I did not know that. Is that the reputation of a Washington Redskins fan base?
This is the most ridiculous story we've ever had. For a guy who's making $14 million a year on a 6-3 season, come out and find the need to trash the fan base of the home team is one of the more absurd outlier stories. I am amazed by those comments for a winning team and a guy who's paid as much as he is to hear him be so negative. What do you like?
Shregs, but
I think it's crazy.
Shregs, but they're
winning. Backs him up.
But isn't there also a hashtag he's not wrong?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Like Shregs, they're a winning team, and you know damn well there's some unruly fans that boo anything. And he's sitting back saying we're giving you everything that we got, and he's sitting there booing us at random times in the game.
Not questioning him. I think it's just. I mean.
I wouldn't say
yourself the enemy of your own fans.
It's
crazy.
I wouldn't do it.
You're gonna take out the home fans.
I think he's one of that maniac who wants to see the world burn. Doesn't care. Boo me in my own stadium, and they're winning. So it kind of works. When he's playing well too.
He's up in the division. Like that should be the time that your fan base should be like the most excited and happy. I get his frustration, and he doesn't care. He's gonna say whatever he wants.
It's fun. I grew up with the Hogettes. Like they were the coolest fans in the NFL. They were iconic fans.
I'm not mad at it.
But if you talk to Redskins fans, they'll tell you.
I wouldn't do it, but I'm not mad at it, though, because I feel him.
I'm not questioning it.
The places I've played, they've been good to us.
I'm saying he's got a lot to lose.
To my former team.
He's one of the highest paid corners in the league. He's not exactly playing at that level right now.
He got a lot to lose. He had last week. He looked pretty good.
And for him to take on the home fans.
Josh is good. He ain't got nothing to lose.
If this show is the voice of the fans, there's an issue going to the Redskins games. I got friends, I got family members.
Really?
They're not complimentary of the game day experience. Let's just put it that way. I don't want to get gratuitous, but I think there is a legitimate issue about the stadium experience, the fan experience.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. I do.
Fans, tighten up.
I want to hear from Redskins fans. Nate saying fans, tighten up.
Tighten up.
Get your mind right.
There's a lot of courage.
Hashtag GMFB.
What's tighten up mean? I don't understand.
Hey, just tighten up the screws. You guys are getting a little loosey-goosey. Chill out, man. Just don't drink too much before halftime. Don't be booing for no reason.
Tweet the show.
I'm on Josh's side.
I like it.
I'm with him.
MFB. He led two franchises to the Super Bowl and did something that no other coach really has ever done in Green Bay since Vince Lombardi. He won the title. He's also considered one of the great quarterback whisperers of all time, having coached Hall of Famers Joe Montana and Steve Young and Brett Favre. This Friday, critically acclaimed NFL Films original series, A Football Life, shares the story of Mike Holmgren.
The guys I had the good fortune.
You got that feeling? You will. So I'm going to give you some contextual healing right here. Because it's not just the catch. It's also the context in which they get their feet down. So let's get to the toe drag swag, baby. Let's start with the Rams. Here we go. Hey, Cooper Kupp, we feel for you, man. I know you tore your ACL.
I like this,
But check out this right here, man. I haven't seen a throw this good to a Cup since that 72 beer pong championship. You remember that?
Hell yeah, I do.
Yeah. One of the greatest of all time.
All the time.
Here we go. Little spin move. I like the fact that he goes up with his hands and then he has to find the sideline before getting his feet down. He looks at the ball, looks at the sideline, and then drags his feet with a little toe tap. Cooper Kupp, you will be missed. Heal up, man. I had an ACL, man, so hit me up, whatever you need. I know you guys have a great training staff there in L.A. You'll be back stronger than ever. Let's go. Number 2, Dolphins. Danny Amendola. Nice. Check this out. He gets the left foot down, right? He shoves it because he knows exactly where he's at. And then watch the right foot. Boop. He dots the I. That's a little further away from the sideline, but that's just the guy knowing where the sideline is. Danny Amendola still doing it at a high level for all those wondering, was it the system? Is he just one of those guys?
He's had a nice year, man.
No, he can do it, man, on any team, in any jersey. Danny, I see you still doing it big on the sideline with a little toe tap swag.
Traeger is furiously scanning the sideline.
I'm looking for a familiar
He so
face.
badly wants to see
You want to do the sideline thing. Okay, all right.
Come on, Peter. You know everybody.
Well, I got some good ones. All right, let's go to the Titans right here. We got Marcus Mariota, right? He's an absolute beast. He's looking for his guy, Cameron Baston, right here. Check out this throw, first of all. And now on the side corner route, he's going to tap his feet. I love it because he starts to gather his feet right before the sideline, knowing where he is, and he glides up in the air and puts his feet down. Cameron, making me feel like Cameron. Got me saying, oh boy, getting those feet down and out before he gets to the sideline.
Hey, Ma.
I love this. Hey, Ma. You collapse the pocket. He sits back, throws an absolute dime on the corner route in between their cornerback and the safety. And when a guy has to float in the air before he gets his feet down, like that's absolute beauty because he's aware exactly where he's at, gets the catch, and then peeks at the sideline. That's toe jack swag at its finest. Now this one, it's one of the best of the weekend right here. Keenan Allen, who's bounced back from so many injuries in his career, playing at a high level, a true number 1. This is beautiful. He's on the outside, condensed split, runs the out route, and then check him out. Great ball. Check him out where the ball's thrown. That's going to land out of bounds, and then you have him dragging his feet in those beautiful unis with the blue and the yellow, live and living color. Keenan Allen, like Keenan Ivory, wins. Absolute beautiful throw.
Nate, Phil still got that fastball too, man.
Oh, he does. He can rip it through.
On it.
A little unorthodox.
It's all right.
The fact that Keenan Allen knows exactly where the ball's going to land. He starts to drag his feet. I mean, this is it. This is the definition of toe, drag, swag.
That's it.
First
right
touchdown
there.
since week 1.
Need more of that from you, Keenan.
What?
Shout out to everybody. It's not just about the catches. It's about the footwork as well. And that's week 10, toe, drag, swag.
My man. Marvin Gaye.
Coming up next.
Contextual healing.
You said that we heard sexual healing, but I heard J.G. Wentworth the entire company.
Oh!
We'll have highlights for you ahead. Also, Eli Manning looked like his own self last night.
You got that feeling? You will. So I'm going to give you some contextual healing right here. Because it's not just the catch, it's also the context in which they get their feet down. So let's get to the toe drag swag, baby. Let's start with the Rams. Here we go. Hey, Cooper Kupp, we feel for you, man. I know you tore your ACL.
I like this,
but check out this right here, man. I haven't seen a throw this good to a Cup since that 72 beer pong championship. You remember that?
Hell yeah, I do.
Yeah. One of the greatest of all time.
All the time.
Here we go, little spin move. I like the fact that he goes up with his hands and then he has to find the sideline before getting his feet down. He looks at the ball, looks at the sideline, and then drags his feet with a little toe tap. Cooper Kupp, you will be missed. Heal up, man. I had an ACL, man, so hit me up, whatever you need. I know you guys have a great training staff there in L.A. You'll be back stronger than ever. Let's go. Number 2, Dolphins. Danny Amendola.
Nice.
Check this out. He gets the left foot down, right? He shoves it because he knows exactly where he's at. And then watch the right foot. Boop. He dots the I. That's a little further away from the sideline, but that's just the guy knowing where the sideline is. Danny Amendola still doing it at a high level for all those wondering, was it the system? Is he just one of those guys?
Had a nice year, man.
No, he can do it, man, on any team, in any jersey. Danny, I see you still doing it big on the sideline with a little toe tap swag.
Traeger is furiously scanning the sideline.
I'm looking for a familiar
He so
face.
badly wants to see
You want to do the sideline thing. Okay, all right.
So bad. Come on, Peter. You know everybody.
Well, I got some good ones. All right, let's go to the Titans right here. We got Marcus Mariota, right? He's an absolute beast. He's looking for his guy, Cameron Baston, right here. Check out this throw, first of all. And now on the side corner route, he's going to tap his feet. I love it because he starts to gather his feet right before the sideline, knowing where he is, and he glides up in the air and puts his feet down. Cameron, making me feel like Cameron. Got me saying, oh boy, getting those feet down and out before he gets to the sideline.
Hey, Ma.
I love this. Hey, Ma. You collapse the pocket. He sits back, throws an absolute dime on the corner route in between their cornerback and the safety. And when a guy has to float in the air before he gets his feet down, like that's absolute beauty because he's aware exactly where he's at, gets the catch, and then peeks at the sideline. That's toe jack swag at its finest. Now this one, it's one of the best of the weekend right here. Keenan Allen, who's bounced back from so many injuries in his career, playing at a high level, a true number 1. This is beautiful. He's on the outside, condensed split, runs the out route, and then check him out. Great ball. Check him out where the ball's thrown. That's going to land out of bounds, and then you have him dragging his feet in those beautiful unis with the blue and the yellow, live and living color. Keenan Allen, like Keenan Ivory, wins. Absolute beautiful throw.
Nate, Phil still got that fastball too, man.
Oh, he does. He can rip it through.
On it.
A little unorthodox.
It's all right.
The fact that Keenan Allen knows exactly where the ball's going to land, he starts to drag his feet. I mean, this is it. This is the definition of toe, drag, swag.
That's it.
First
right
touchdown
there.
since week 1.
Need more of that from you, Keenan.
What?
Shout out to everybody. It's not just about the catches. It's about the footwork as well. And that's week 10, toe, drag, swag.
My man. Marvin Gaye.
Coming up next.
Contextual healing.
You said that we heard sexual healing, but I heard J.G. Wentworth the entire company.
Oh!
We'll have highlights for you ahead. Also, Eli Manning looked like his own self last night.
Say this, I feel like it's a misprint. 17-year NFL vet. This fullback paved the way for 5 different players who rushed for over 1,000 yards in a season. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler, and he's a friend of the show. Let's welcome back to the breakfast table, Tony Richardson.
How we doing?
Doing great, man. How you doing, man? You always look great. The fountain of youth is something that you bathe in every night, I know. But let's get to football, though. You're a former Jet, gangrene, struggling. 4 straight they've lost, and their record through this amount of games this season is actually worse than last year.
Exactly.
So things aren't looking good. Everybody's heating up the seat for the head coach. If you're the GM, are you firing Bowles right now?
I'm not going to do it right now. I just think, and I think that, I was actually with Mr. Johnson prior to the game. He was like, Tony, we really need to win this game today. And all of a sudden I look up at the half and it's 31-3. I'm like, that doesn't look good. But I just don't think you make those decisions at, the middle of the season. Because me personally, I wouldn't do it. Now, if you have to make that decision, you make it at the end. But even now, if you were to fire him, if I was a GM, like, who am I going to bring in? Who's on that staff right now? You can say, okay, he can lead this team. And I don't think there's anyone that really can do it. And you definitely don't bring someone in out the street, to take over the team.
On the flip side.
Yeah.
let's talk about the Chiefs.
Okay, so now, so Andy Reid has job security.
That's right, baby.
I think he's okay.
His team is good.
Yeah, his team is good.
Sitting there at 9-1. In fact, Kansas City was 9-1 in 2 of your seasons there with the Chiefs. What makes you think that this is the squad that can make it over the hump and win a Super Bowl?
I just think, for me, and obviously I'm a huge football fan. I love video games. This is like watching Madden. How is everyone open? I feel like I want to get back out there, but the thing about it, the only thing that kind of scares me about this Chiefs team is the defense, because some of the games has been like, they put up 31 points, but he gave up 30. Right. So that's the biggest thing. Once you shoot that defense up, I'm not sure who can beat this team. And the great thing about it, if they get home field advantage and everyone has to come through Arrowhead, you're gonna be able to hear the crowd from here.
Tony, she mentioned you were 9-1 twice there.
Yeah, definitely.
Just quickly, one thing of why you guys didn't take it.
Yeah, I think for us, for whatever reason, we could never get over the playoff hump. Like, we'd be 13-3 and rolling, and we'd always have that bye, and that bye, for whatever reason, we come back out, and then we get smashed.
So that bye is a bad thing.
If I had to do all over, which I had no control over that, I don't really like that bye.
So what's your advice to these guys that might go through that?
I mean, they're definitely going to go through the bye.
Don't face Peyton Manning.
Yeah, well, don't face Peyton Manning. That helps. But even in that game, that was the first game that
never a punt in
the entire game, and we lost by, I think, 3 or 4 points. 4 points. Yeah, I remember like yesterday.
Trent Green throwing the ball all over the field,
all over the yard.
At the last laugh.
Exactly, as he always does.
Tony, for people at home who were playing fantasy football way back in 2002, I think they owe you a check. I think they owe you part of their winnings.
I can use it.
Because that's the year.
I'm not making Nate money.
Oh, come on. Nobody is. That's the year that you were blocking for Priest Holmes. We made a board for you. Let's show Mr. Richardson the board we made for him, because Todd Gurley's doing amazing things this year. But look back at 02 Holmes, what we have here through 10 games. Wow. More yards, more touchdowns, more scrimmage yards, and just as many scrimmage TDs. So you're watching Gurley go crazy this year. Are you reminded of your guy you blocked for, Priest Holmes, and can he maybe break some records this year, Todd Gurley?
I think he can. The thing about Todd Gurley, and that's the biggest thing I think now that separates a lot of backs in this league, is the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. And that's the thing that Priest Holmes was able to do at such a high level. It's kind of hard. You start thinking about just getting him the ball. You throw him a swing pass, this Priest Holmes is my guy. But I kind of compare these guys. Gurley's probably more of a bigger kind of bulkier type running back, but Priest had vision like none other. So you might see a clip of Tony Richardson running on there trying
I'm looking for it. There we go, baby. Sorry.
But I like Todd Gurley, and I wish I had him on my fantasy football team, because right now I'm getting smashed. I don't have a good running back. So I had Beast Mode and then Beast Mode.
Did you draft Le'Veon Bell?
Speaking of Le'Veon Bell, what's going to happen today? What do you guys think?
What do you know?
I wish I knew something. I still don't know. I'm from the old school. I can't leave $14 million on the table. I don't think I can.
All right, now you're from the old school.
I'm from the old school.
You can't leave $14 million on the table, but is there something that you can appreciate in what he's standing for? Because you've blocked for running backs that were getting crumbs.
Exactly.
And they complained about it to you in the meeting room.
Okay, but $14 million isn't crumbs. Now, if he was playing at $900,000, I'd be like, okay, go get your money. Because Priest Holmes actually held out 1 year, and and I was kind of talking to him through that whole deal. And I was like, Priest, do what you need to do to make sure you get paid. And the organization stepped up and paid him. That was a whole different scenario, because you're not talking about $14 million a year.
But isn't it all relative, though? This is 2018. The NFL is making $13-14 billion.
I'm telling you, if I put my general manager hat on, and just to see the way the league is going, I'm not paying a running back $14 million. I mean, obviously Gurley deserves it, but you can go get a Kareem Hunt. You can go get an Alvin Kamara, third-round pick. There's no way I can.
Can I ask you, as a blocking back?
Yeah. And I hate to say this. My running back's
of course. If he comes back, if he does come back. Do you block for him like you would have blocked for? No doubt.
Yeah, one thing about it is, that's one thing we always said, and I was actually disappointed in their locker room. Starts talking about other people's contract, other people's money. Like, you just do your job and let me take care of my business. I didn't really like that from that standpoint. But the day he shows up, you scrap all of that. You say, we're going to battle. Hey, welcome back. You're my brother, and I'm gonna support you through thick and thin, through everything. And so that's the biggest thing, is when that whistle blows and it's time to get in that huddle, all that other contract stuff, that nonsense is done. We're trying to win a championship.
That nonsense Violence is happening all day, at least until 4 p.m. That deadline.
That gives everyone to talk about today.
You're right about that.
Keep it here on NFL Network. Tony, you were part of the All NFL Legends USO Tour earlier. Now you're doing something with Salute to Service. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Salute to Service. I was able to talk about it on television on Sunday. So the Salute to Service, if you put hashtag Salute to Service on Twitter, it was $25 per tweet.
Amazing.
That went up to $5 million. Now, guess what we've done? We've actually increased it. We topped the number at $5.7 million. So now we're going to keep it open until the 19th.
Oh, really? Awesome.
So we're going to open it back up. It's open now. And now it's $5 per tweet up to $6 million. And so that's so go ahead and tweet Salute to Service.
I'm doing it right now.
And that's an incredible, initiative because, we can start supporting the Bob Woodruff Foundation. We can start supporting, all these different organizations, the USO tours. And so this is amazing. And I think I'm really behind the NFL just because obviously having that military tie with my mom, my dad.
I was going to ask, so you come from the military background. Let everyone know what your connection to the military is and what Veterans Day means to you.
Yeah, so my dad actually did 32 years, and he was in Vietnam. He has a Purple Heart. He almost lost his leg. My sister did 4 deployments, so she did 28 years. So for me, Veterans Day is everything because I know personally in my life I wouldn't be sitting in this chair if it wasn't for my dad making those sacrifices. And even going over in the USO tour, which was amazing. I went with Amani Toomer and Donnie Edwards. And the thing about it, we kept telling them, thank you so much for your service. Thank you so much. And they would tell us, no, thank you for what you do. And I'm like, man, I haven't done anything.
Right.
But the thing about it, and one thing they said is like, we love the NFL because this is an opportunity. Because you think about it, these are young people, that are fighting the battles, that are protecting our borders. And these are young people. And they said when football Sunday comes on, this is the one day we can say, it gives you some normality. And it kind of gets you off the day-to-day stuff that you're dealing with. And they kept saying, hey, guys, thank you. I'm like, man, we didn't do anything.
Right.
Thank you, guys. So obviously we still, obviously yesterday was Veterans Day. We still want to say thank you so much to our troops because none of us can do what we're doing right now if it wasn't for the men and women who've already served and who are currently serving. So we definitely from the NFL want to say thank you.
Amazing. It is reopened. I'm tweeting. Everybody's tweeting hashtag Salute to Service to raise that money. Let's run up this tab.
Let's go. Let's see if we can take it to 7 million. Maybe right about that. We'll see.
We're sitting at 5.7 million right now and counting, as you can see. There's my tweet right there. Boom, showed up. Move it to 50. Oh, there it is. That was mine. NFL.com/salute. Make a difference. Tony Richardson here, the best.
Thank you so much.
You really appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
All right, coming up next on Good Morning Football, Titans did a little trolling of the Pats this past Sunday.
With Bell's on, I thought that was perfect. We had Belle Biv DeVoe. We mentioned Albert Bell. I'm thinking of Belle from Beauty and the Beast. I'm into her.
I love Belle.
Yellow dress.
Like Alexander Graham. I think he's a fantastic one.
Important, yeah.
The question is,
Bell jar, little Sylvia Plath for everybody out there.
Fine with me.
will the Steelers be saved by the bell? Right. Is he going to be in the building today?
Mr. Belding.
In the building.
Okay.
Haskins.
Crown on Nate's head there. Let's bring in Will Selva, who I'm sure has got some puns. And if he doesn't, then I kind of feel bad for putting him on the spot.
No, Hell's Bells, for whom the bell tolls. I mean,
I like Hell's Bells.
Yeah, Hell's Bells, AC/DC. Yeah, absolutely. It will come out of the bullpen. Who can forget? All right, now we got, as you guys think of more puns, I'll get on to the news. It didn't take long for former Browns head coach Hugh Jackson to find employment again. Jackson heading back to the place he was before he went to Cleveland. The Bengals naming Jackson's special assistant to head coach Marvin Lewis. He was on Lewis's staff for 4 seasons in Cincy, the last 2 of which was as offensive coordinator for taking the head coaching job with the Browns. Cleveland firing him less than 2 weeks ago. Jackson saying, quote, "There is a lot of talent on this team. I look forward to doing my part to help it finish the season along." Strong. Chargers linebacker Denzel Perryman will miss the rest of the year after suffering multiple injuries Sunday. Perryman injuring his LCL against the Raiders and will also require hamstring surgery as well. Perryman is set to be a free agent this offseason. Dez Bryant's season was over before it began after rupturing his Achilles in practice last week. His absence leaving a hole on the Saints wide receiver depth chart, and Brandon Marshall is ready to fill it. The Seahawks releasing Marshall last month. In 6 games this season, he had 11 catches for 136 yards and a touchdown. He has 8 1,000-yard receiving seasons in his career. And Saints head coach Sean Payton fessing up to smashing a fire alarm inside the locker room at Paul Brown Stadium prior to that blowout win over the Bengals. Payton saying it was going off for 10 minutes and just needed the noise to stop. Payton went on to say he would gladly pay for the repair costs, The Bengals releasing a statement reading in part, "We are aware of the situation and have been in touch with the authorities." Payton says it was not a tactic to motivate the team, but we've all felt that frustration of trying to change the batteries in our smoke detectors, especially when they're going on and on and you're hearing that annoying beep. So that frustration is real. So Payton deciding the noise had to go. And he did just that. He's smashing it.
It's a relatable moment. Who hasn't chased the beep all around their house and you finally just rip it off the ceiling and say, I don't care. Screw
Yes, you
it.
do.
I've done the same exact thing.
I have not.
I have as well.
You'll
I
get
felt
there.
that pain.
It's annoying.
You'll
sound.
get there someday.
Smash or pass.
So wait, it's over there. It's over there. Constantly. Trust me, that's what they say. Catch the laser.
Thanks so much, Will Selva. Back here every Tuesday, we like to sort of dish out the thing that we learned or the thing that happened in Week 10 that sort of made us go, huh, that's actually happening.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get this thing started. What I learned this week is that we don't need to worry about Andrew Luck in the Colts offensive line anymore. Skeptics has made us believe that Andrew Luck is a fragile, bearded boy, and he can't stay healthy.
Wow.
He can't be protected. And the numbers, the numbers. Luck took the most QB hits between 2012 and 2016. As we all know, Luck missed 26 of a possible 48 games in the last 3 seasons. In the preseason, there was an actual research note sent out. What do you got? Despite the Colts' efforts to protect Andrew Luck, he continues to get hit at a very high rate. In 43 snaps this preseason, Luck has taken 3 sacks and 3 QB hits. When projecting that sacks per rate snap out for the full 16-week season, Luck would finish with 77 snaps taken this season. Chill out, on pace guy. Just chill out.
Pace guy, no.
On pace guy eats it up, man.
What are you doing? All right, listen, my friends, I'm here to tell you that the stats are real, but the stats are different. Here we are, 10 weeks into the season, and the latest numbers speaks for themselves. Luck has only been sacked 10 times. In the last 4 games, he's been sacked 0 times.
It's unheard of.
It's unheard of. That hasn't happened since 2009. I'm glad you said that. And to put that in perspective, in 2009, when Avatar was out in the theaters, listen, you want to go even deeper?
Yeah.
How about the deep passes? Look at the perfect passer rating for passes over 20 yards up against the Jags. That's 230 yards, 3 TDs up against one of the best defense that were supposed to take their team to the Super Bowl. And Luck outside the pocket, well, he's starting to protect himself. And this is the most important part of it. He's making better decisions. Here he is, back in 2015, trying to make something happen.
Don't do it.
Taking an unnecessary hit. This is the last time we've seen him on the field before he got back on the field.
Reckless.
And how about this season? Let's flash forward to this past week. Andrew Luck making a decision, stepping outside the pocket. You remember old Luck? He was going to take that hit.
100%.
Now he's working harder and he's working smarter. So for all those that want to do the whole bubble boy meme for Andrew Luck, those days are over, man. This ain't the same old team and this ain't the same old quarterback. Indy's offense is back, baby.
My man. You're going to mess around and get that wild card. Watch.
He's balling right now.
Watch.
People are sleeping on the fact Andrew Luck is playing unbelievable right now.
That touchdown streak is insane. And the sack stat is more insane than even that. I'll stay in the same division as you.
Okay, what you got?
I would like to talk about the Titans in this one because I feel like it goes a little underappreciated that they're the number 1 defense in the entire league. Not like number 1 scoring since 5. They're the number 1 total defense in the league right now. And 11 different players have sacks. They look good. Mariota looks better. Just a couple of weeks ago, he had more interceptions than touchdowns. That was his record and the staggering stat about Marcus Mariota a year ago. And it was spilling into this season. Over the last 2 weeks, he's got 5 touchdowns, 0 interception. He's awesome. And we look at this offense, which is improving every week as they gel. Matt LaFleur there, obviously. Vrabel getting them that huge win on the road against his old squad as the Patriots. They look awesome, but it's the swag that's really like catching my eyes. It's the extra sauce that they're putting on everything. I feel like last year, the past several years, we sort of saw, sorry, they were home, not in New England.
Sure.
Got it. I don't know what I was going to say.
The Titans the last several years maybe haven't had the same flair, right?
Kind of. I just feel like we talk about them probably because Marcus Mariota doesn't say much, that they're sort of vanilla, like as a team or whatever. I mean, recently they've been turning it up on another level, giving us some of the best sound bites that we've ever seen. Take a look.
It's ridiculous that people don't give the Titans enough credit. Obviously, we've been up and down on wins.
the last 2 seasons we've had winning seasons with a big playoff win. You got to start giving the boys more credit, man. Like, there's 32 teams, there's not 31. So, I mean, you got to start respecting Nashville a little bit.
Yeah, it's a real sweet win, you know, especially when you used to be there and they didn't want to bring you back. So, definitely real sweet. I'm happy my teammates came out and played, and I love these guys.
So it is a little personal.
Hell yeah, it's personal. That's what happens when you go cheap. You get your kicked.
What do your teammates call you?
Marcus. Doesn't really stray too far from that.
That's the leg kill. He's so chill.
His nickname is Marcus. So you don't look at this team and, I mean, that was a great soundbite, and see what they're bringing on the field. Then you have them also trolling their opponent better than anybody else. Kevin Byard, of course, running to the star in Dallas when he had an interception. It was amazing. And also these other troll moves. Like, let's take it back now to week 10, I do believe, and we had the trickeration happen. Tom Brady catches the reception from Julian Edelman, sort of stumbles and falls, and it doesn't work out. Less than a minute later, they...
Way to go, bro!
That's the best.
This season, we are seeing more cool, quirky, creative offensive plays than ever before. And each week, we've been profiling them in a segment that we call Cool Plays, Bro.
Cool Plays, Bro.
Cool Plays, Bro. Let's do it from week 10. First up, let's go to the Browns offense, where Freddie Kitchens was basically lit. I mean, this was a crazy set here. 3 running backs in the backfield here, and look what the play is. Baker goes back, and you watch Baker Mayfield here. All right. You got Duke Johnson, you got Nick Chubb, and you got Dontel Hilliard. And then Duke pitches to Chubb. So 3 running backs, 1 gets it, 1 takes it, and then he runs the option. This is unheard of. 3 running backs. Like, this is wishful.
Earlier.
He could have done it earlier. Who knows what would have happened?
Love that pitch.
This is what you want to see if you are one of these teams looking for some fun, some flair, a little offensive mastermind. Freddie Kitchens wasn't the head coach. He wasn't the offensive coordinator. And now he's running plays like this. The Browns offense was drunk on Sunday. I don't know if you watched it. Baker Mayfield was throwing a pass by Hilliard at one point that was, intercepted. They were doing I love this play. 3 running backs. This reminds me of Paul Johnson at Georgia Tech.
That's right.
Let's go with the wishbone. Let's see what we got. And watch it one more time here. Hand off to one of them. He pitches to another. The other one's going to block.
Great. You know what's next? Halfback pass off of this.
You could pass off this and look at the man deep. So many things are going on around the
Isn't it appropriate, Peter, that Kitchens has that very open floor plan?
There you go.
Look at that. Come on.
Perfect. HGTV stop. All right, let's go to Kansas City, where we know Andy Reid has been doing just so many fun things this year with Tyreek Hill. Watch this one. Watch Kareem Hunt and watch Travis Kelce, and check out this play here. All right, Hunt's gonna go that way. You've got the 2 guys here. Watch Kelce blocking, and then look where Tyreek Hill comes out of nowhere. And he goes on the fly sweep.
Rolling.
You don't even see him in the film. And then he comes out of nowhere and comes all the way around. He's saying, go. Hunt goes out. Kelce comes and blocks. And then there comes Tyreek. Unbelievable play call. Unbelievable design. I don't know how you stop that if you're the Arizona Cardinals. All right, let's go to one that happened here in the tri-state market. We talked about this. Kyle had a great line yesterday. Deion Dawkins is the offensive lineman. How are you named Deion Dawkins in this generation and not be a defensive back?
Come on. It's like being named Thurman Tomlinson and you're not a running back. Let's go.
Matt Barkley to Deion. Kyle, you said it great yesterday. It's one thing to lose to Brady and Gronk, but if you're a Jets fan, you lost to Matt Barkley and Deion Dawkins.
That's right.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you
Kelly to Reed.
Kelly to Reed. There it is. Shout out to Brian Daboll, the offensive coordinator, drawing this one up. No one covering Deion Dawkins, an offensive lineman made eligible. He throws the block. I mean, he makes the play.
I love that he kept his feet the whole time.
Absolutely.
It took just a little hand to knock him down at the end.
Falling down. And the last one, we saved the best for last. We talked about him earlier in the show. I'm so into Michael Dixon, the punter with the Seahawks. There's nothing flashy about this. It's just a 68-yard punt in the air.
I'll take it.
You don't see that.
Wait. In the air, not a bouncer, not a roller.
Dude, this is insane, and he is so hashtag for the brand. I can't even get over it. Pat McAfee, shout out to you, but this completely changes games when you could punt the ball 68 yards. You don't see hang time like that. Of course, The Rams did bring it back a few yards, and that's cool, and that's fine. But to totally, look at it, slow-mo, hands to foot. NFL Films did the treatment on Michael Dixon for us.
I can't believe you're showing this game, and it's not Johnny Hecker in cool plays, right?
Not Johnny Hecker. It's Michael Dixon, the Australian punter.
He got some flavor to him, too, Trey.
Oh, yes, he does, man.
I know.
Yes, he does. Michael Dixon, follow him on Instagram, follow him on Twitter. He's my favorite new personality. He is a cool player, bro, and that is Cool Plays, bro, for Week 10.
Cool play, bro. Cool segment, bro.
Amazing. So we're going to get some wrist tattoos.
Yeah, I would think so, Peter. To fully commit, you need a wrist tattoo. Is this me?
Hi.
Why did you Far from you, my friend.
Hi, Mom.
Let's get a selfie. Do it for the gram, bro.
Okay, for the
Remember, guys, Le'Veon Bell has until 4 p.m., of course, to show up for Pittsburgh, or he doesn't get to play. He'll be ineligible. We'll keep you updated on all of that all day long right here on NFL.